Well, good morning to you all. I'm Todd Duplantis, and it's Monday, March the 30th. Welcome to Up to the Minute, and boy, do we have a great show for you today. First, we want to welcome our students back to classes. I know faculty and staff are very busy today with this new world we're living and performing in right now, all virtually online, and that also means our course instruction. Today, to address the questions, we've got co-host Brittany Pacheco, who is at her home. You've got a new background behind you. And we'll talk more about that in a second, but welcome to the show. And we're going to start with Dr. Shantay Grays, Vice Chancellor of Student Services. Dr. Grays, boy, we've got a lot to talk about today. But, we want to start off our students back to a brand new environment. And I know you and your team have been working very hard at this to deliver them the best in education now online.
We have, and we're so excited to welcome our students back to resume the spring semester. Now in our new environment. We've been working so hard over the past 3 weeks to ensure that we had as much of the services that we could deliver online. Our faculty have worked dedicated extenuous numbers of hours to ensure that the curriculum is all converted and that our student services staff are trained in this new technology that we're using to support our students. And we're so thrilled to be able to get the semester resumed again.
I know we've been talking about this, it seems now, forever, because I know you guys have been working for quite some time to get this all ready. But what advice do you have to give students who are starting back to classes today?
You know, I would say to students, be patient. Don't stress. We are here all navigating this environment, and it's new normal for us. And know that our faculty and staff are also navigating this. So we encourage the faculty and staff the same way, right? Let's be patient. Let's work through some of the challenges that we maybe have not anticipated, and encourage each other. We want to ensure that we are as flexible as possible, giving students every opportunity to get adjusted. And we're asking students to give our faculty and staff the same concession. We're all learning together and growing together.
You know, talking about grades, I know that's been one of the questions that have been coming up quite often is what are we going to do about the grading situation? Are you guys have taken that in consideration, and maybe you can share your thoughts on that?
We have, Todd, and we understand that an institution the size of Houston Community College with a very diverse student background with varying needs, we had to take all of those situations into account as we thought about the best possible approach for supporting students. I am pleased to say that we are including, at least for this semester, we're making some revisions, temporary policy revisions for grading. That will include a pass-fail option. We have a team of individuals who will be dedicating most of their day today to work through the process, and that will be communicated to our students and our faculty and staff on what the process would be for a student to make those kinds of requests, explaining to the students the nature or the implications of their decision. But we also want to ensure that we're providing every possible option for all of our students.
I know students may have questions that can't be answered right away, but I know we're getting to all of them. Is there some virtual assistance that's available to students besides going to the COVID website, which is hccs.edu/health-notice? That has a lot of information. Is there other virtual assistance that's available?
There is, and in fact, we are so excited about our new virtual assistance and virtual student services lobby. This lobby can be accessed by visiting the hccs.edu homepage. Scrolling to the very bottom of that page, you'll see a series of 4 blue tiles, blue bars, and one on the very right-hand side of the screen. It's labeled Virtual Assistance. That's student can click there, fill out the form, and request the information that's necessary, identify the department that they need services for, and by college, and they'll be routed and a staff member will follow up within a matter of hours.
I'm going to go ahead because that was a lot of information. It's on the homepage. But if you want to talk about it real briefly, once again, I'm going to give students a live view of that homepage so we can kind of guide them through that process. And we're going to go ahead and take that right now. And I think we can bring up the homepage here. And there's our homepage right now that's on here. And you're saying students can go where exactly on the homepage?
So on that homepage, you see at the very bottom, there's four blue bars, apply to HCC,
Right?
visit HCC. And I'm sorry, this is not embedded in the web page. It's the static content that's at the bottom of your screen, Todd.
Okay.
If you're able to see that.
Yep.
So apply to HCC, visit us, academic calendar,
Virtual assistant.
virtual assistant. Click on that tab. We ask students to complete their information so that we can identify them, including their student ID number, their name, first name, last name, date of birth, as well as a good contact number for them, and how they'd like to be contacted. Is it via email or phone? We also provide WebEx and virtual consultations, but that would be arranged once the department has been identified. So students who are requesting to see their advisor or counselor can fill out that form and make that request.
I know Brittany had some questions that she was taking from some of our students, because another way students can get a hold of us is through our social media. And Brittany, do you want to go over a couple of those questions that Dr. Grays can answer for you and bring those up?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, y'all. And so as we are transitioning into this online learning environment, we did have a couple questions from students about loaner laptops. Dr. Grays, can you elaborate on any assistance that the college can offer to students in regards to loaning laptops?
So I will say to our students, it's not too late. Wouldn't you rather own a laptop than have one loaned to you? Unfortunately, due to the circumstances around our buildings being closed, that means our faculty and staff and our libraries are inaccessible to employees as well. However, we've done a number of things to ensure that our students get access to the devices they need. If students have not completed the student equipment questionnaire, we encourage you to do that. It is embedded in an email that was sent again on last Friday. And students fill that form out because you have the ability, we have funds available for students who are in need to not only purchase a laptop, but also purchase internet access. So, and this is open to all of our students. Any student who is in need, it's not just for financial aid students or domestic students. So we're encouraging our students as quickly as possible to fill that out, because the survey closes on Friday. And in order to ensure that we get as many of these students identified and awarded, it's important that we hear back from them as soon as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Grays. And the other question too, in regards to internet access, we had a student who is concerned about, internet connection at her home. Let's say she's in the middle of an online test. How could she find a way to be able to, get a decent internet connection, and then, what can the college do for her in that regard?
The same thing for the student. So while that student may not have necessarily needed to respond to the equipment questionnaire, because they do have internet access or even access to a personal computer at home, if it is not stable access, we need to know that, and we want to ensure that students have access. So completing that document that I just referred to a minute ago is important for us. And it's important for us to be able to communicate that to our faculty as well. I would encourage the students, if they've not done so yet, reach out to your faculty member, your instructors, all of them, and inform them of your current situation, but let them know that you have, in fact, completed the equipment questionnaire. We're advising faculty that it will take a little bit of time, about 5 to 7 days, once the students have been awarded, and once they've identified and secured the service. Give them about 5 to 7 days to secure their equipment or their service in their homes.
If we could,
Thank you, Dr. Grays.
We're having a bit of technical difficulties. Dr. Grays, if you could turn down your audio just a little bit. We're getting feedback, so we're trying to track that down. And folks will bear with us. As we keep mentioning, we did last week, this is our second week into these remote broadcasts. And at times we have a few bit of streaming difficulties, but we're trying to keep up on that. Brittany, what are the rest of our students saying?
I think there's just a lot of concern in general with just transitioning from online from rather in person to online. And I think students, as Dr. Grace has been saying, just be patient. This is a whole new environment for all of us, and we're doing everything within our power to be able to assist you in the best way possible to complete your semester. Obviously, Dr. Grace has talked on the different grading options that are going to be looked at, and students hopefully will have that opportunity to learn more about it. But also questions in regards to what's available online, of course. We did say that the second 8-week courses registration has been extended to today. So there's lots of questions about if GED classes are still available online, what other courses would be available online. So, we're trying to get those answers for you as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, you can also go to hccs.edu/now, where you are able to view some of our course listings and see what's still available to register in.
Right, and I think the main thing to keep in mind is that I know we're getting a lot of questions, and I know a lot of you are looking for answers. And as Brittany mentioned, we're working to get those to you as soon as possible. But please do keep posting your questions under this live stream. You can post them in the comments. We're handling them one by one, and we may send you a direct message. We may comment on your question if we're getting a lot of questions. If it's specifically pertaining to you, we're going to try to do that privately through a message, or we'll have one of our your instructor or someone from Dr. Gray's staff reach out to you. Dr. Grays, I know you've been fielding questions from students, your department for quite some time. What would you say would be the most popular question and the most common ones that students are asking right now?
I think we've heard a lot of concern around access to equipment. That's been a common theme for our students, as well as the concerns about grading and even refunds. I know that a lot of students are concerned about their inability to complete courses this semester. Again, we are working through this process. We have to have guidance around the legislature in terms of the best way to approach refunds, if that is even a possibility. We want students to know that we hear them, we understand their concerns, and we're working as expeditiously as possible to provide some response to their concerns. But there are a lot of things that are contingent upon powers beyond and authorities beyond the administration at HCC.
I think you brought up an excellent point, because I've seen petitions online asking for various things like a pass-fail situation. But I think what people need to realize, this isn't like waving a magic wand. Your team and the administration are limited because of state regulations and guidelines that you have to follow. We can't just automatically make a decision that's going to affect all of our students, because you're following the guidelines that you're given as well.
That's right. And knowing too, Todd, as I shared, we're such a diverse institution. There are a number of populations within the college that would be adversely impacted by some of the decisions we make. And knowing that there's need for us to consider all of them as well, it requires us to think very thoroughly about what we can do to address our student concerns.
One thing to keep in mind, students, we did at the top of this broadcast, we talked about a location on the website. And if you go on the website and simply scroll towards the bottom, you're going to see a virtual help center where you can enter the right information in and get those individualized answers that you're needing. Because I know there are a lot of questions out there. The main thing I guess we want to get across to our students is that we're doing everything we can to deliver their education, and this is new for you guys as well.
That's right, and we want students to know that despite this being new, and because it is, we're doing everything we can, working with our faculty and our administrators to be as flexible and as considerate of the situation that is very difficult for us all. Trying to manage and navigate through these nuances makes it difficult at times, but we're here for each of our students.
You know, Dr. Grays, yesterday, President Trump delivered another mandate that we're going to be living like this at least for another 30 days. Did you guys anticipate this? I mean, as you're planning for that this may happen?
We understood that when you're planning, especially in business continuity, you plan for the worst case scenario. And if you can start there, then you can work your way backwards and always scale down the plan. The good thing is that now that all of the heavy lifting for transitioning the courses online has been completed, everything else after this process will be much easier for us to follow. We can anticipate rolling out the start of a new semester. Summer registration begins on April 6th. It begins Monday. And it is very likely, as we heard from the president, that we will begin that summer semester in this online environment. So we're prepared to do that and we're equipped.
That's another good point you brought up, because people are already questioning what's going to happen with the summer sessions. One way or another, it sounds like we're looking at moving forward with the summer sessions, whether it be online or in person.
Dr.
That's
Gray,
correct.
if you don't mind, we have had several questions from our international students on, what will be done to help them during this time, or who is the best person to contact. Of course, we always refer them to the international office for questions and have provided them that email. But could you shed some light on anything to assist for our international students?
Sure. Thank you, Brittany. That is, again, one of our populations that we are also having to take into consideration when we make decisions about policy changes. I will say to our students, we have been in very close contact with the Student Exchange Visa Program, which is CVIS, that guides all of our our compliance reporting and DHS reporting for our international students. We're happy to say that there would be no adverse impact to our students for fully transitioning all of their courses online. So students will be able to successfully complete this semester without fear or implications of their status being jeopardized. In terms of resources, because I do know that is a common concern for our international students, our Associate Vice Chancellor of Special Programs and Student Engagement, as well as our Director of International Student Programs, is working very, very tirelessly, quite frankly, to identify external support for our international students. We recognize that they have been also equally impacted by this circumstance. And because it's a global crisis, it's one of those things that requires that we at least have some level of support for students. So we expect that there will be more information around access to emergency support for those students in the next week or so. Those students will receive a direct email as well as a link encouraging them to complete a request for support.
Thank you, Dr. Grays.
Dr. Grays, along the same lines, we've also have questions that have come up over the past week regarding veterans benefits, and I know that falls under your department. Could you, will veterans continue with their benefits, and maybe you could address how they could get assistance if they need some?
Yes, thank you, Todd. And like our international students, our veterans also will continue to receive benefits. There will be some changes on the part of the administration as it relates to compliance reporting. But for our students, that means VA work study, as well as our students who are enrolled in programs and beneficiaries of military benefits, there will be no impact adversely to their ability to complete this semester.
And in the same vein, I also must ask about our ADA students, because we've had a few requests along there as well. Could you assure them that you're working as well to address their needs?
Yes, thank you, Todd. And we also, our counselors, we have a number of ADA counselors across the district. Our Director of Counseling and Ability Services has deployed a list of students to each of our counselors, and they're making phone calls, individual phone calls to students today to discuss any accommodations needs or just to ensure that our students are prepared. And they're serving as intermediaries between the faculty and the students to ensure that we're doing everything we can to make adjustments necessary to support those accommodations as needed.
Thank you, Dr. Grays. Brittany, you're watching the live stream right now. You had anything else coming in that you want to address before we wrap things up this morning? Because I know we've got an afternoon show and I want to promote that in just a moment.
It's actually been very quiet right now. We from our very own Shantay Campbell. She sent us a little emoji saying basically, hi. So, hey, Shantay. But students, before Todd makes his announcements, just please understand and be reassured that we are here for you. This is your time. It's a very unusual time, of course. And as you are making this transition to online instruction, the college supports you. We're here for you. Granted, I've said it once, I'll say it again, we're going to be very transparent. We might not have all the answers up front, but please know that your concerns are being forwarded to college administration, who are taking your concerns and needs into consideration and to figure out the best policy to move forward with this semester.
Perfect. Dr. Grays, did you have anything else you'd like to add on this first day back to class?
Just want to encourage students to give it their all. And if you have challenges or concerns, please do not hesitate to inform your instructor. Reach out to us through that virtual assistant, and we will do all we can to provide that support that's needed. We're here for you, as Brittany has said, and we continue to reiterate, and we'll get through this as an HCC family. So good luck. Let's finish this semester out strong.
That's a great point to end on. Dr. Shantay Grays, thank you for joining us. Vice Chancellor of Student Services, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to remind folks out there, we're live every morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time here on the Houston Community College District Facebook page. Please share this post so that the word continues to get out there. We're live at 10 a.m. and just starting last Friday, we started a 1 p.m. edition, at least while we're in this remote environment, to bring you the most up-to-date information. Now, the 1 p.m. show we have lined up later on today, we'll be speaking with a gentleman from HCC who will be telling us about virtual support that's available to students and faculty as well. We'll also be talking to Michael Garfield, the high-tech Texan, who will be talking about how to clean your devices. You want to know how to disinfect your laptop, your mobile phone, all those devices. They can carry germs. We're going to get the ins and outs on that later this afternoon. And we've also got a special appearance by one of our students. Last week, we shared some stories from some of our international students here at Houston Community College, and we've got a very interesting perspective from one of our students from Nigeria. We'll hear from her on our afternoon show. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll see you at 1 p.m. on Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis.